Hi, my name is Michael Rhodes, and today I'm talking about a certain principle of growth, a spiritual principle, a metaphysical principle that is in all life. There's nothing that doesn't have it, but it's not very well known. And I call this chaos, the engine that drives, order, the stability of structure, and balance, the place of our greatest potential. Now this is in everything. It's in maggots, it's in trees, it's in earthworms, it's in elephants, it's there, and the internal parasites, intestinal parasites they may have. Everything with life has these principles. We tend to interrupt these principles. So let me explain it. Chaos, with a capital C, the engine that drives. So if you have a wildfire in Australia or America that blazes and burns away, that is chaos with no order. And if you have a boulder, a massive boulder, that is order with very little chaos. In other words, that'll break down, take a long time. It's very, the structure is very stable. Whereas a wildfire, it is complete chaos until it's burned out. And then it's difficult to explain because it's totally metaphysical. And so then there is balance, which is the place of greatest potential. That is like a white flame, no heat, flickering over everything. So red, I see maybe 1,000 shades of red as chaos. Some of those reds are almost divine. They're so pure and beautiful, full of love. And on the lowest end of the scale, they're malignant and terrible, like in human anger. And exactly the same with order, where I see this as a black color. There are about 1,000 shades of black, and how do I describe the shades of black? I can no more describe them than I can the shades of red. I don't know many names of colors of red, but there is a black that is very stable and yet is full of wrongness, and there is a black that you begin to get as the stability of structure can begin to move again. It's very difficult to explain. This doesn't fit in our human language, in any language. It's purely metaphysical. And then there is the flickering white light of balance. So let's just give an example. We have a towel, a thick towel. And my friend Henry's standing on one end, and the towel is wet, and he's twisting to the right, and he is chaos, and I'm on the other end and I'm twisting to the right. We're twisting in opposite direction, and I am order. And there is a point where the torsion that we're creating is exactly the same, completely in balance, between Henry twisting to the left and me twisting to the right. There's a place where the torsion is absolutely in balance. All the water has run out of the towel, and it's now in perfect balance. Everything is in balance. And so there's a white light runs over it, flickering light. And so chaos, the engine that drives, and order, the stability of structure, appear to oppose each other. That is chaos. You just heard it. We call it a thunderstorm. But it's not bad chaos. This is part of nature. And so when you hear a clap of thunder, there's part of nature. And so the chaos, the power that drives, and order, the stability of structure, oppose each other, and yet they're not in opposition. Or you could say they're in opposition, but they don't oppose each other. And between them, at the perfect point of torsion, you have out of it comes this incredible balance, and that is a place of greatest growth. So in my forest garden, if I've got a drought, then order becomes too strong, it dominates. The chaos is the engine that drives new growth. And so if we get a storm and it rains, then it will bring chaos into the stability of the soil, which is now a little bit too dry. Do you get this? And so then, as the stability and the power the engine that drives come together, so it brings up growth, because they now come into the balance. Now, if I think of myself as a beautiful being, if I wake up in the morning and when I shave in the mirror, I say, "Hi, beautiful, I love you. Today my life is going to be magnificent." Now, what do? I'm taking chaos, the engine that drives, and it's now a sweet chaos. It's a beautiful chaos. The power is there to drive, but it's attuned, and it's in balance with the stability of structure, with order, and so they're both in balance. And that means in my day there will be the flickering light that will be in every cell of my body and will be all over my field of energy, and it allows my place a greatest potential. But if I look in the mirror, I got a bit of a headache. Oh my God, I've got a bad head. I wonder if I've got a tumour in my head. I wonder if I've got a tumour. I wonder if there's a growth there. I think my grandfather had it, my great-grandfather. Now you're moving chaos into a dangerous red. You're moving into not a good place. And you're taking away the stability of the structure of your brain. You're moving the energy away. You're destabilizing it and taking it away, because we, in our bodies, in our lives, we order this. We use it in order, but nobody knows it exists. And it's an emotional language. My emotions, and when I'm metaphysically traveling, I can see it through my field of perception. I can even see it through my non-physical eyes, because when you take your physical body away and you've got a lifetimes of habit of looking through your eyes to see, metaphysically you'll still look through that, but you don't limit to that, but you still see. And so I see the colours, and they change, and I'm the changing of them. So if I feel that now I've got a growth here, I'm taking away stability and I'm increasing chaos, I am moving toward dis-ease. And so what I would try to get you to see is we create our own dis-ease. But it doesn't just happen in one lifetime. If you subconsciously have created disease for 100 lifetimes, then are you suddenly going to have perfect health this time? No. The probability, and the probability is something else again, the probability is that you will create the same pattern of disease, the same downward pattern. And so this is where an education at school doesn't stop any of this. Clever people do just the same as not so clever, uneducated people. It's nothing to do with cleverness. But if on your spiritual path, I consider I was very fortunate to find a metaphysical path. You see, I came across out-of-body traveling, and I sort of realized, well, if you can do it out-of-body asleep, then why can't you do it out-of-body awake? What's the difference? Asleep, awake, it's just a matter of focus. But as a child, I learned about imagination, and it was completely by accident. You know, I didn't want to hear what the teacher had to say, so I shrunk the teacher down. And when I shrunk them, I did it in my imagination. It took a long time, but finally they were tiny and I couldn't hear them. It really puzzled me that other kids could see them and hear them, because I thought and then I had to learn I only shrunk it down for me, the teacher. And gradually I began to realize the power of imagination. And I won't go into that story, but I followed the power of imagination until I got old enough for girls. And then imagination moved in a completely different direction, which we don't need to follow at all. But eventually when I was an adult and happily married, it all came back again, and I began to see the possibilities that lie within the metaphysical self. And so things unfolded for me in a fairly unique way. And I came across one time when I was traveling, Pan taught me the field of wheat, young wheat. This is where it all began. And he showed me the chaos in the wheat, which was allowing it to grow, the engine that drives. Then he showed me the order, which was the stability of structure. So this is incredible. Do you realize that as the wheat grows, it retains the order of wheat? It doesn't turn into something else because the stability of structure stabilizes it so wheat stays as wheat. And so I began to see the chaos, the engine that drives, and the stability, the black order, the stability of structure. And then there was a day when Pan took me and it was raining and the wheat was growing. And as I watched it growing, there's all this white flickering over it. And so then I learned to see this in all life. I can look at it in people if I choose to. Mostly I don't, because it's not the happiest experience looking at most people metaphysically. I don't like to see the chaos dominating or the order dominating, and mostly one or the other's dominating, and so so many people are moving toward disease, to shut down. And I used to do it, and I remember looking at a person, and I thought to myself, that person must be very close to being dead. And 3 days later they were dead, and I saw them moving around energetically, and that bothered me, it really bothered me. And so I gradually shut down looking at people that way. And now I never do it. Even when I'm asked to, I don't do it. It's not my business. And so we have this incredible principle that you look at it metaphysically, but it's your emotions. It's an emotional language. It's your emotions that are aware of the incredible interpretation of maybe 1,000 shades of red and maybe 1,000 shades of black, and the white, which seems to always be sparkling a similar white. It's an emotional language. Your emotions translate it. Your emotions do the interpretation, not your intellect. Your intellect can't touch it. And I'm very convinced by now that this is a language in our future where we are much more balanced, and the emotions, which are far more complex, our emotional language is 1,000 times more powerful than our thoughts, our mental language. That is trite by comparison. And this is why eventually we move on to telecommunication through telepathy, and where we can project images and emotions with it, which are like listening to 1,000 lectures as compared to 3 words that the mental body can come up with. It's so rich and complex and diverse. And I have had telepathy with so many beings, and the diversity and the richness. And yet, you know something? Of all the beings I've met, none of them have as rich a language as our emotional language. This is one of our uniquenesses, our richness, the incredible richness of our emotional language. And although what I'm talking about talking to you about has no effect, you could say, in your daily life, yet it does. And you can ask yourself, am I moving toward chaos right now? And is this chaos based in joy and honor and love? Or am I moving toward order? Which am I shutting down and closing down? They're not good places to go. And so, whereas the balance is called love. This is the incredible thing. It's always there in our daily life, in every moment. We lose love. Love never loses us. Never. It can't do. We are love. And this is why I'm all the time saying, consciously choose love.